stop an adult carrying a crying child. I was standing at the bus stop downtown last Tuesday, minding my own business and scrolling through my phone. Then I heard this kid screaming bloody murder. I looked up and saw this little boy, maybe 5 or 6 years old, running down the sidewalk toward me. He was crying so hard he could barely breathe, snot all over his face, the whole thing. Behind him was this guy in his 30s, wearing a gray hoodie and jeans, chasing after him. The man was shouting, "Tyler, get back here! Tyler, stop running!" He sounded frustrated, but not exactly panicked like you'd expect from a worried parent. The kid ran straight up to me and grabbed onto my leg like I was his lifeline. He was shaking and sobbing, and when he looked up at me with these huge brown eyes, he whispered, "Please don't let him take me. He's not my uncle." My stomach dropped. The man caught up, out of breath and trying to laugh it off. "Sorry about that," he said, reaching for the boy. "He's my nephew. He's just having a meltdown because I told him we couldn't get ice cream. Kids, you know?" But the boy gripped my leg even tighter and shook his head violently. Something felt really wrong. I crouched down to the kid's level, trying to stay calm. "Hey buddy, what's your name?" I asked softly. "Jamie," he whispered. I looked up at the man. "What's his name?" Without missing a beat, he said, "Tyler." Like I said, he's just being dramatic. The boy immediately shook his head and whispered, "That's not my name. My name is Jamie." My heart started racing. I asked Jamie, "Where do you live, sweetheart?" He rattled off a complete address, including the apartment number. 1247 Oak Street, apartment 3B. My mom's name is Kelly, and my dad's name is Mike. I turned to the man. "Where does he live?" The guy hesitated for just a second too long. Near the elementary school, on one of those streets over there." He waved vaguely toward the east side of town. That was it. I immediately pulled out my phone and dialed 911. The man's whole demeanor changed. "Whoa, hey, that's not necessary. He's just confused. Kids mix things up all the time." "Then you won't mind waiting for the police to sort it out," I said, keeping Jamie behind me. The man started backing away, saying he had to go pick up his car from the shop and didn't have time for this nonsense. But this tall guy on a bike had been watching the whole thing go down, and he rolled his bike right in front of the man, blocking his path. "Actually, I think you should stick around," the bike guy said. He was probably in his 20s, wearing a construction vest like he just got off work. "That kid seems pretty scared." The man tried to push past, but more people were starting to notice what was happening. A woman with a stroller stopped, and an older guy getting out of his car was staring at us. The 911 operator answered, and I explained the situation as quickly as I could. They said they were sending units right away. The whole time, Jamie stayed pressed against my side, still crying, but quieter now. When the cops showed up maybe 5 minutes later, they separated everyone and started asking questions. I told them exactly what happened, and the bike guy backed up my story. They asked Jamie for his address again, and he repeated the same exact information he'd given me. One of the officers radioed in the address, and within minutes, they confirmed that a Jamie Morrison had been reported missing from that exact apartment about 20 minutes earlier. His mom had called 911 when she realized he'd vanished from their front yard where he'd been playing. The man's story completely fell apart. He couldn't provide any ID showing he was related to Jamie, couldn't tell them Jamie's last name, couldn't even describe what the kid had been wearing when he picked him up. Turns out he was a complete stranger who had just grabbed Jamie off the street. When Jamie's mom arrived, she was sobbing and shaking. She kept thanking me over and over, saying she'd only gone inside to answer the phone for 2 minutes. The cop told her that if I hadn't listened to Jamie and called it in, they might never have found him. The man got arrested right there on the sidewalk. The last thing I heard before my bus finally showed up was the cop reading him his rights. Jamie hugged my leg one more time before his mom carried him to their car. The whole thing probably lasted less than 30 minutes, but it felt like hours.